Friends of mine in other countries that desperately want to come to Singapore at some point when the borders open up, just so that they can pay for the vaccine.
We're going to talk about how Singapore approves the Moderna Covid-19 vaccine, and our resident health expert is going to talk to us about this. Go on.
You go, Captain Underpants.
Oh, I think he needs a vaccine against Tourette's. Unfortunately, there's none. Aiyo. I have to forget what I'm going to say.
No.
Moderna's COVID-19 vaccine is the second vaccine to be given interim authorization under the pandemic special access route. So, for people who are wondering, there are people who are wondering, why is it now just being approved when it was already purchased months ago? So let me just say that when the COVID-19 was, it is still, but last year when it was, the vaccines were developed, all the wealthy countries that could afford to basically made a big bid and rush to purchase them. You had to start to make your mind up as to what you wanted to buy. You didn't really have time. You had to go with the clinical data that the pharmaceutical companies were providing you. Singapore has its own HSA, and it also convened a panel of experts for the pandemic response, and they were the ones who were reviewing it. But before you could even review it internally, you had to basically put a stake and put money down and purchase it. So they made an early decision to purchase 3 vaccines, and that was the one by Pfizer, obviously, which we've been given, and then the one by Moderna, and the one from China, which is
Sinovac.
Yes. So once, and I had said this before, is that just because the vaccines were purchased does not mean that they are approved for use, and HSA still has got to approve it, and they did with the Pfizer one, and then they took several months to study the Moderna one, and now they have approved it, and they will then be, at the same time, I'm sure they have already been doing the studies on the Sinovac one to see whether or not it can be approved. So that's the reason why there is a lag between the time of purchase and the time of the approval by the local health authorities. I also want to put this in perspective because, I think in Singapore, sometimes people miss the fact that being offered the vaccine is such a privilege in a world where there's such a shortage. To date, only about 26 countries have access to a vaccine out of 200 over countries, Many countries just simply will have no hope of getting the vaccine in the next year, in the next 2 years. They just don't have enough money at all to be able to purchase it.
And even if they have the vaccine, there's such limited numbers that the whole population could not even
because,
get
obviously getting the vaccine is the first step. Even for a modern country like Singapore, it's the first step, because after that, you have to make sure you've got all the facilities, you've got enough of the equipment, you've got the personnel to go out there, you've got to, do all of that. So I think that's a very important consideration, is that you look at the United States, for example, they've got the vaccines there, but they don't have all of the facilities and the people and all the different states to do it. So we're very, very lucky. We're very lucky. I know friends of mine in Indonesia, friends of mine in the Philippines, friends of mine in other countries that desperately want to come to Singapore at some point when the borders open up, just so that they can pay for the vaccine.
When I'm listening to you, what is wonderful is the timely purchase of this vaccine, which has made it such a big difference. Because I'm imagining if the government was sitting over there and waiting for some kind of process or approval, it might be too late.
Yeah, it will be too late.
It might be too late. So this is very timely, and that's why we are benefiting.
I think people just have to stop this cowboying. If you get it approved too fast, they say I scared to take so fast get approved.
Yes.
Why then now we got the Moderna one? Why so long then you go and take now then you go and try and get it? I mean, hello. What you want Make up your bloody minds,
Yeah, they're just disgruntled complainers.
And then also on top of that,
it's okay. It's a vaccine. People have problems like allergies and